Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about, I'm about ready to quit this job. You lucky you even got your food. Doordash driver leaves Chick-fil-A order in a tree, sparking debate. Yet again, we have another Doordash driver making us look bad by doing things that are ridiculous, like leaving somebody's order in a tree. Now, again, we don't know the full context of this. We don't know how justifiable it is. So I want to go over what this article is saying, how it actually is for DoorDash drivers and customers, and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. In a viral TikTok video, a DoorDash customer shared an experience with a driver who allegedly left their Chick-fil-A order in a tree. Honestly, I'm getting a little confused already. Like, out of all places to leave an order, even if you were doing it to spite the customer, in a tree? Like, what's the mindset behind that? I can't think of a decent mindset to leave an order in a tree. All right, DoorDash, count your days, a TikToker starts. Honestly, I find that statement really funny just because of the timing of all of that. He's saying that because he's upset about the situation. We actually know that the FTC has been going after DoorDash recently. So this is actually just a weird timing for a statement like that to kick off a video. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with that, I made a video talking all about it. I'll leave it in the description. Feel free to check it out. The creator, Aaron, at I.aaron, reveals screenshots of his messages with the driver. He received a notification that his order had been delivered. However, Aaron couldn't find it. All right, first and foremost, I'm leaving his TikTok and his profile in the description as usual, so you can develop your own opinions. I can definitely understand the confusion, you know, when it's usually right by the door and you look by the door and it's not there and you don't know where it is, what's going on, right? So when you see something like that, it's like, what the heck happened? Where did you drop the order off? I can't find it, he messaged the driver. Tree, the driver simply responded. I mean, that's a clear and concise answer. You dropped it off by a tree or in a tree. What does that mean? Aaron questions in the video, asking the driver if his order was near his apartment. That's true. It could be any tree. There's trees in a lot of different places. So tree can be actually really vague. Dude, go F yourself, you effing S. The driver allegedly responded before going off on the customer to come outside to get his food with even more profanity. I am not by any means condoning that kind of action, but I can get the frustration of what happens when a customer deliberately ignoring your calls and then you get frustrated and then they're like, oh, where's my food? Like, come on, weren't you picking up the phone after all that? Like, I'm not saying that's actually what happened. I don't know. We haven't gotten to that part of the article yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if that information was kind of left out and then they tried to actually portray a different scenario. But no, he should not have gone off on the customer like that. Aaron says he found the order placed in a tree on the other side of his apartment complex. All right, so this is how I imagine what happened. The guy has got the breakfast order from Chick-fil-A. On his way to the customer, he actually gets to the customer's apartment complex. He is taken behind the building, or he's taken to the other side of the building because the GPS didn't quite take him to the apartment. He took him to the building. But then he's contacting the customer because the customer probably didn't include the proper information on how to get to his apartment, or even they might have forgotten to put the apartment number at all. And then because of all the frustration, waiting the 5 minutes, calling him over and over again, texting him over and over again, and then he decides to contact you, you're doing everything you can at that point. So now you gotta leave it in some place that they define what is actually a safe place to leave the order. So you choose a tree, and then you leave, and as soon as they look, they notice that the order hasn't been delivered. Now they contact you. And you're just here like, oh, now you pick up the phone after 5 minutes of calling over and over and over again. That's disrespectful, by the way. If you ghost your drivers, you're a disrespectful piece of garbage. And that's only assuming that that's actually the scenario. He must be having a bad day, he adds in the video, showing the next message he sent the driver. Dude, I'm just trying to get my breakfast, Aaron wrote. I mean, you're not wrong about that. However, the DoorDash driver then went off on him for tipping only $1.50 when the order was placed. If you had a problem with the tip, you shouldn't have taken the order. Actually speaking, anybody who is taking lowball orders just to go off on some customer, why are you even on the platform? Like, I understand the concept of no tip, no trip, or not accepting low offers, and constantly stating things like, hey, you shouldn't be treating drivers like that, and I get that. But now you're just giving them a good reason to not tip their drivers, because this is how they're going to be treated. You're justifying all of the negative things that other people are saying about DoorDash drivers by treating the customer like that. That's ridiculous. Stop making us look bad. I'm about ready to quit this S job. You lucky you even got your food, the driver allegedly responded. Who the F eats Chick-fil-A for breakfast? Go get some effing eggs and bacon and cook a real breakfast. First and foremost, he shouldn't have went off on the customer like that. He really just shouldn't have. Second, he's not wrong about the concept that he is lucky that he got his food, because most people would not be willing to tolerate lowball offers like that. And third, who cares what he eats for breakfast? That's his choice. It's not your food. If you have a problem with it, don't pick up the order. It's just that simple. At the end of the clip, Aaron admits that he did eat his Chick-fil-A order, though notes he did get a refund. It was a gamble, he concludes. Honestly, I understand the concept of getting a refund, specifically by the way he was treated. So honestly, this is a good win for the customer overall. The video amassed over 265,000 views since it was posted on September 15th, with many viewers in the comment section siding with the driver. Things you do for content, huh? I'm actually shocked that there are so many people siding with the driver, actually speaking. What argument can you make that actually supports the driver? The Dasher was spitting facts at one point, one user said. I'm Team DoorDasher, a second wrote. I was on your side, but saying you only tipped that because it was $13, but not equating the service and gas to bring it, a third stated. Okay, so this is no tip, no trip advocates. This isn't justifying the behavior of the driver. I understand the frustration of a driver that is being tipped next to nothing. But here's the other side of that. He didn't have to accept that order. He really didn't. He should have just left it alone. And there is a truth to the statement that, yeah, he is lucky he got his food, but if he's not going to tip his driver, it doesn't matter. Other viewers shared their unsatisfactory experiences with DoorDash and its delivery drivers. Up, here we go. DD has repeatedly delivered my food to the wrong building. Last time the guy yelled at me, what's the problem? I put it by apartment 3803, one person shared. There's actually a lot of reasons why that could be the case. One of which is use my location instead of typing in your address for the customer ordering the food. The other reason is, let's say they say it's an apartment and the apartment building is actually not just one building, but a bunch of different buildings. So therefore they have to actually figure out which one is actually yours. But there's actually a lot of reasons for that to happen. So honestly, if there's a problem, you gotta figure out if it's you or the driver, because there's only one common denominator in that case. I just ordered Dunkin' and my Dasher went to a completely different neighborhood and circles it for 15 minutes and gave my frozen coffees all melted, as second recounted. I feel like that's because of northeast, northwest. You're putting in an address and then the GPS doesn't want to actually put in the right address for you. You press navigate from DoorDash and then it sends you to a completely different address to where it's supposed to. It's ridiculous. Somebody did this to me, but with a random bush. Then it got mad because I said it wasn't delivered and she lost the money, a third wrote. Yeah, I really don't know how to explain that. With a random bush, I don't know how to help that person. Aaron posted a follow-up video responding to a comment in the original video, which claimed the Dasher was the viewer's hero. Aaron says he doesn't understand why the viewer would idolize someone who did their job poorly. I feel like what's happening here is that a no-tip, no-trip advocate is seeing somebody who took a lowball tipper, totally shoved it in their face, and treated the customer poorly. And they're idolizing that concept. Which, honestly, I always hate those kind of videos. I always hate those kind of posts on Facebook, because it not only displays the point that people are making about DoorDash drivers being like these horrible people, when in reality they're just people who are trying to pay their bills, and no, they're not at all like that in the large majority. But these people are also saying that they're taking orders with no tip, justifying the fact that people aren't tipping. And then algorithmically speaking, they're showing, hey, we don't have to tip these drivers because they're taking it. They're still doing the work anyway. We don't have to pay them more. It totally goes against the concept of what no tip, no trip is supposed to be about, so that drivers can actually be paid what they're worth, so that customers can actually tip their drivers more, so that way DoorDash can actually say, maybe these drivers shouldn't be so dependent on tips. Maybe we should pay them a little bit more so it's not so much on the customer, so it doesn't actually take all that much to actually tip the driver. But no, that's not happening here. This is what's happening here. Yeah, this is a horrible take, he says. In addition, he noted that the DoorDash driver had the option to accept or reject the order. Aaron then defended his reason for tipping less, stating that the order was small and the Chick-fil-A location was 0.4 miles from his apartment. There's a lot to be said already in this statement. Number one, yes, we do have the option to accept or reject the order. The fact that he was telling you that you're lucky that you got your order is actually a very true statement. Because realistically, if the order only had a $1.50 tip, there's no reason for the driver to actually take the order. It's going to be a waste of the time for the driver. It's going to be a waste of time for DoorDash. It's just a waste of time in general. Yeah, the order is small. Yeah, the order is close to your home. So if you have a problem with tipping more, that's fine. Just go get it yourself. Don't justify the reason you're wasting the driver's time by the concept of you ordering small. If you're going to order small, go somewhere else. Go on a platform that's going to allow that kind of behavior, because we as sure shouldn't. Make it make sense, he wrote in the caption. Very pro-tipping people who deserve it, but tip culture is out of hand. It's not my fault DoorDash doesn't pay their employees. I love how people say that they're pro-tipping just to save face, even though their actions are displaying that they're not pro-tipping at all. And then they'll say something like, it's not my fault that DoorDash doesn't pay their employees. First of all, we're not employees, we're independent contractors. We have every right to tell you to go take a flying leap if we want to. Even though the way he did it was wrong, you shouldn't have gotten your order to begin with. And if $5 is too much for you, that's fine. Go somewhere else. And I know it sounds like I'm condoning the behavior of the DoorDash driver cursing out the customer. Number one, he shouldn't have cursed out the customer, but number two, he shouldn't have taken the order to begin with. His response led to several viewers to share their own opinions on tipping. Oh, this should be good. Some commenters argued that his low tip deserved the poor service. Okay, here's my controversial take on the concept of, does low tip deserve low service? Low tip and no tip deserve no service. You don't have to like the take, but don't complain about the service. I tip $5 minimum, and my food has never been in a tree, one user said. There you go. This guy's actually attesting that he tips properly, and he's never had a problem. It's 0.4 miles from you. They had to drive it back and forth, another noted. That's almost accurate. That driver was probably not too far away. I would say about a mile or two out. He had to go pick up the order, spend X number of dollars and X amount of time to actually pick it up, drop it off to a location that he was unfamiliar with, which was 0.4 miles away, in an apartment building that he didn't know where he was, and spend 20 minutes, let's say, to actually get that done. And you expect somebody to do that for $1.50? If so, I said, here's $1.50, go spend your money, your resources, your personal stuff to actually get my food, you would throw that money to the side and flip me off. Like, come on. However, others claim the Dasher's behavior was unacceptable regardless. The driver shouldn't have cursed out the customer. The driver should not have put the food in a tree. Driver should not have even accepted the order to begin with. The reasoning may be justifiable in some people's eyes. I just don't see it. The way he acted, he doesn't deserve the tip anyway, one viewer wrote. Not all the Dashers in the comments coming for you. If the Dasher didn't like the tip, he shouldn't have accepted the order, a second argued. 100% agree with that. And honestly, doing anything else but declining the order goes against what no tip, no trip is supposed to be about. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. This feels like a case of everyone sucks here, because the driver should not have accepted the order. The driver should have just declined it and moved on. The second part of that is we don't know what happened during the delivery that made him feel as if he needed to put in a tree. Was it just about the tip, or was it about how he was treated during the delivery? Was he taken behind the building? Was he being ghosted? There's a lot that wasn't being said here. And honestly, I think that needed to be cleared up. Now, we only heard the customer's side side of things, he should not have flipped out the customer. He shouldn't have put it in a tree. He shouldn't make himself liable for deactivation, because here's the reality. This is gonna be on TikTok. This went viral. This is probably gonna get him deactivated. You should not go against no tip, no trip if this is the kind of behavior that the customer is displaying. So if you ever get a bad order, just decline it. Don't even bother trying to prove some point to a customer, because in reality, they are not even worth explaining it to anyway. This is one of my most controversial takes on no tip, no trip. I don't want bad customers to start tipping more. I want them to tip absolutely nothing, just like they always have, because in that case, we can identify those people as quickly as possible. The fact that they choose not to tip their driver actually displays their character very early on. One of the things that Para actually revealed, the people that were actually accepting better orders with better tips were the people that were actually making the most money and getting rated the best. So taking bad orders is actually a big detriment to your ability as a driver to make money and to stay on the platform. Like one no tip order and that could be the end of your DoorDash career. Think about it like that. So do yourself a favor and choose to take the better orders for yourself, for your finances, and for your account safety, because people like this should not be receiving service to begin with. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!